losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I want to be the greatest.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the first radio show of Madden 24. We're about halfway through the season, and we're ready to kick things off. So let me turn it over to my partner. Yeah. I mean, there's nobody there. I don't know where he went. So, yeah, where can I find somebody that's got like no life that could just hop on and be the co-host, with no notice? All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Look what the cat dragged in. So everybody's favorite 10-time Super Bowl champion, Ray, is joining us live from Michigan. So, hey, welcome to the show, Ray.
Thanks for having me. I think ever since I seen Kobe do the show going 100 down the highway, that was it for me. That's when I knew I needed to get in here and try to one-up that.
Yeah, I'm glad that's all we saw him doing with his habits. So you never know. So again, Ray, you've been here since just about the beginning. One of our longstanding commissioners, is super active in the chat. So, what are some of the things we got going on in GOI for the folks to know about?
So we did finally decide on the trade calendar. That was kind of a long, very hot, debated question, topic, however you want to call it. So we finally came up with that there's going to be no trading after the Super Bowl that goes towards the previous year. And so the trade calendar is just going to be straight start of free agency all the way through week 8. For you, Bailey, I know you've been asking about 100 times on that one. And yeah, you'll get your 3 through there, and then we'll reset after the Super Bowl and start of free agency. And
now this year was the only year we're going to extend the deadline, right? Because of the late start of Neon.
Yeah, thank EA for that one every year.
You always get to say. And now you got something planned for, I think, the off season too, don't you? For gambling addicts.
Yep, that was another big time Bailey thing, and a couple others wanted it too. We're gonna go do a gambling poker, I guess, in fact, poker night, because you do more than poker, but casino night, we'll call it, office style. For those of you that the office, I'm sorry, you better get on it. That's all the details we're going to give for now, and that'll happen between the Super Bowl and free agency, somewhere in that window.
That sounds like fun. I actually had to have Bailey teach me how to play roulette the other day, because I set it up, but I've never played it. So I play blackjack once in a while, so.
One of those games you can't really learn. It's just all luck.
I didn't even know the command. So I didn't know how to start it. So, all right. Good deal. So, something we wanted to add was an injury report. Because, it's been kind of a topic of conversation this season a little bit. And we do have a couple big injuries to talk about. Just highlighting some of the bigger ones. So it looks like Chicago's reporting DJ Moore is still out with a foot injury. So I think he's going to be out for another week or two. Probably the biggest one, as far as ratings go, would be Kansas City. They haven't had Travis Kelce for it. He's our highest rated player with an injury. And I don't know. He must be on his knees for Taylor Swift, because he's been out with a knee injury and he won't be back until week 15. But probably the biggest news is that the Rams, they've lost their signal caller. Justin Herbert has been nursing a quad injury like nobody's business, and I don't think he's going to be back for a couple weeks. And the only other real crazy thing in the injury world is I don't know what Kevin's doing down there with the Cardinals. So far, that team's placed 10 players on injured reserve. 6 of them are healthy, but still sitting on injured reserve. So I'm assuming his management is trying to make a second or third practice squad down there. I'm not really sure. We'll see how it works out for him. So, Ray, you wanted to talk a little bit about injuries, I think?
Yeah, I got a few more here. And back to the Justin Herbert. I don't think that's hurting Tom's feelings. He's all but made it public that he's going to be a free agent after this season. But also for Tom, we got Khalil Mack out for 3 weeks. We got Deion Dawkins and McGovern for Ryan, who we all know he likes to run the ball, and you got 2 big linemen out. You can't do a whole lot. We got Marty. Marty's got 2 starting D linemen out. And well, we got one more. This one doesn't make me cry at all, but Christian Kirk for Connor's out for 5 weeks. Oh, we got my actual favorite one was Rashawn Gary. Kobe undermined me, traded him. He's out for 3 weeks. So that brings a happy tear to my face. And yeah, I think that was about all I had for me.
I think that's called karma, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I did see that with Marty. It's his left end and his right end. So anybody playing Marty, you might want to do some stretch plays. So all right, good deal. We have Brandon, GM of the Raiders, and also the godfather of the bookie program. So welcome to the show, Brandon.
Hey, thanks, John. Appreciate it.
So I guess we'll kick off, and Ray and I kind of want to get to know you a little bit better. We know you in the league, but we don't know. So what's Brandon's life outside of GOI like?
Oh boy. Well, I just got a house. I just retired from the military 20 years, August 1st. So I'm trying to figure out how the military to civilian transition works. I just got a $10,000 bonus, so I must be doing something right. I work from home. I have a 10-year-old daughter. I have a wife of 15 years. Live out here in Denver. They hate me because of all my Chiefs crap. But yeah, it's a little bit about me. But hey, I love returning it because when I was here in Colorado Springs about 8 years ago, the Broncos were really good and the Chiefs are garbage. They had Tyler Thigpen as a quarterback. I think Connor will know who I'm talking about. No one knows who Tyler Thigpen is. But yeah, now I can return it in kind, and boy, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be here.
Nice. Well, thank you for your service for sure. So I'm guessing, was that Air Force?
Air Force, yeah, Air Force.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my mom wouldn't let me do anything else otherwise. It was like some guys wanted to join the Marines. They're like, "Hey, Brandon, come on, join the Marines with us." And it was like, "No, I'm good. I'm gonna go another route." My mom would have killed me if I went anything else.
Nice. Ray, you got something for Brandon?
Yeah, I was just wondering, how did you get into Madden? And then we've had some people roll the ball around about wanting to start a tree or ancestry of GOI, but how'd you get into GOI?
Oh boy. So I got into Madden. Gosh, when was Mike Vick on the cover with the Falcons? It was like 2004, 2005, something like that. That's when I really started to get into the Madden leagues. I started commissioning my own league, and it went for about 8 or 9 years, and then work and life kind of got in the way, and then I had to kind of set that to the side. But that's when I really got into the whole online league aspect. I was a Madden junkie beforehand. Hell, I went back to like NFL football 93 with Joe Montana. Wasn't any good then. But I got into GOI. I was a part of another league, and I was just kind of looking to practice just to kind of get better. And I think one of their people in my other league said, "Oh, okay, well, what about this league? Join GOI." I saw there was a lot of effort, a lot of people that were trying to make it the best league that they could. And I was like, you know what? I could add my own little wrinkle into it, which kind of goes into the GOI bookie. I was like, if there's a league that looks like it deserves it, I'll try and help out as best I can. So GOI's been great. Yeah, that's how I kind of got in.
Yeah, you've been a great asset to the league for sure. So speaking of that, so who do you feel is your biggest rival since you've been in our league?
Oh man, I'm a lover, not a fighter. I get along with everybody. But if I had to pick one rival, let's see. Well, nobody likes Kobe. I guess not. Okay, so maybe Kobe's not my rival necessarily, but I always felt like I was just right there. I was almost there. I was close to beating him. Like he wasn't no 14-2 good. I knew that. I could stick with him, and if I could stick with him, I'm like, why can't anyone else? So just based on last season, I think it was Kobe, but I think it's starting to go towards Mo a little bit, and that's not just because we were in the division together this time. I took the last playoff spot from him, and I could feel the angst. I could feel the hate, the burning, the seething passion is like he took that last playoff spot from me, and he shouldn't have because he's the Rams. What's he doing taking that last playoff spot? I could feel it, and I'm feeling it now. And I'm telling you, Mo, I love you, man. Okay, let's just chill out. Okay, we don't have to be rivals. Kobe is another story. I can't wait till I play the Texans.
Nice, great answer. And Mo might be used to it because if you were in the Air Force, you probably went and took some of his beer in Germany too at some point. So
I've been to Germany. I've probably done that too.
Alrighty. So my next one is I know you've been pretty vocal about the Raiders and how you don't like the roster, but how do you think your season's going to finish and throughout the rest of this cycle?
Let me put it this way. At the start of every Madden season, you know how they ask you, what's your goal? Like, what do you want to do? You want to do 4 wins, 7 wins, playoffs, Super Bowl, or bust? It's always 4 wins, man. It's always that low bar. When I got out to, I think it was 6-1, I was like, okay, I'm happy. I'm good. And then you go on a 3-game losing streak, you're like, what the hell did I do wrong? What's going on here? Is it just because of the people I'm playing? Or, am I playing better people? And then I just beat the Dolphins. I'm sorry, Emmanuel, I'm going to call you out. That was a huge win. That busted a huge losing streak for me. And now I don't know. I want to say if I don't make the playoffs, it'll be kind of a disappointment just because of how far I've gotten. But really, my end of season schedule, I got to play the other Brandon, the evil Brandon, twice. I'm the good Brandon, by the way.
Right.
And then I got to play the Chargers again. I know Tom is not an easy out by any means. And then I got to play Mo again. And I know he's, as mentioned, wanting to get a little bit of revenge. So if I had to say, I'd say playoffs. And if I don't get there, then it's like, once I get to the playoffs, though, I'm playing with house money, man. I shouldn't even be there.
Nice. All right. Well, switching gears a little bit, I think we kind of already touched on it, but you're the one. You weren't in the league very long when you brought the bookie to us. That was, you're the godfather, the grandfather, whatever of it. So, and it's probably one of the cleanest things we've done. It's there week in and week out. Doesn't matter if we advance at 2 a.m. somehow it magically appears. So tell us, where did you get that idea from, and what was the inspiration?
Well, I will say the reason that you get those bookies at 2 a.m. in the morning because I just have poor sleeping habits. Plus, I'm Mountain Time and everyone else is Eastern. But early on, I wanted to kind of make an impression. I didn't want to be one of those guys that's like, he's goofy, but I wanted to contribute. So like I mentioned earlier, you guys had a great league, a great structure. So I kind of wanted to build upon that and kind of prove that, hey, I can help out. I'm useful. I'm not going to get cut whenever I accidentally go for it for 4th and 28 at my own 20-yard line because he's just, an awful player. So I wanted to kind of solidify myself in the league. That was the reason behind the bookie. But I don't know if anybody, again, I might be dating myself. There was an old site called LeagueDaddy.com. And if nobody knows about it, that's fine. But League Daddy was what I ran my original Madden league on. And eventually it was having errors. It was having problems, not unlike what Neon's going through right now. But I had to contact that one guy to get my league to continue working. I couldn't get a hold of him he didn't have a number out there. Eventually I did enough Google Foo to figure out, okay, I can find the guy's name. And I called him. He's like, who the hell is this? I'd like, hey, your site sucks. Fix it. And I'm like, you know what? It shouldn't get to that point. It really shouldn't. So I started learning about making websites and PHP and some of these other codes. And so I ended up making a site myself, and it was a league for Madden, then it was a league for hockey, and eventually that went away because of life. Life gets in the way, and I was like, how can I adjust this? And that's when I made the GOI bookie and the bookie site, because it's like that can contribute to the league, even though it's not the league management system itself. So that's kind of where it came from. Everyone likes to go.
Same thing. It was called Daddy Leagues a couple Maddens ago. I don't know. Might be it, but
something like that. I'm dating myself. That's how old I am.
what all goes into it on like the weekly thing, and then who all helps you?
Let's see. Well, I know Ray. We kind of alternate back and forth, doing bookie lines. Who else helps out? Ryan helps out. He puts the scores in, and he's a huge help. I mean, whenever a score gets in, I don't even have to go in there. It's already taken care of. So big props to Ryan for helping out. And yeah, I think that comprises the entire team, unless I'm missing someone. If I am, I'm sorry. But yeah, I think that's everyone.
It's definitely a very welcomed thing that we have now in GOI, and it's very advanced for anything we had before. But yeah, future of it, or is it just pretty much set in stone? I know you've kind of started to do the playoff one last Madden.
Yeah, that still needs a little bit of tinkering. I think it's in a decent spot. It's just hard to find time with life and work and everything, kind of fixate on it. What I would like to do, and it's something I think Jacob had a great idea on, was the Survivor. I think I can code a Survivor in there. It doesn't necessarily have to be attributed to just the Discord. So I'd like to give a crack at that. It's, again, just where do you find the time? Where does anyone find the time to do anything? But I think if I had a new project, that would be it, the Survivor. I think that would be a good addition.
If you take your time on doing that, we'll know where to get you eventually.
All right, so we're on to our next adventure, which is we're gonna play a little game called Pretenders and Contenders. Through about halfway through the season right now, so we're going to take a look at the division leaders, and we're going to figure out, or take our best guess, if we think they are pretenders or if they truly are contenders. So I guess we can kick it off in the AFC. We'll start at Anthony up in Cleveland. I'll give you guys a little bit of background on them, and then you guys can give us your opinion. But Anthony is 7-2 when we started this recording. He's got the third best defense in the game. And he's got games coming up against the Rams, Denver, the Jags, and the Texans. So he's got some challenging games coming up. And he's being chased by Cincy, who's 5-4. So what do you think, Ray? Is Anthony a pretender or a contender?
I go back and forth, because I'll tell you what, his defense, very contender worthy. His offense, though, he can be very up and down. I know I just played him here a couple of days ago, and he gave me a run for my money for about 3 quarters. If he can get that offense figured out, and I know he didn't have his quarterback either. I think he's gonna be the one out of that division. Trumaine, though, he's sneaky, so just be careful, Anthony.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to err on the side of caution here. I don't want to insult Trumaine, because he kicked my ass in the World Cup. I mean, he just slaughtered me in the playoff game. So, and that was after I insulted him in the power rankings. So when I say this, Trumaine, please don't take it out on me next time we play. But I think the Browns are going to make it, and I think they're the contender. I'm looking at the Bengals schedule because they're the closest competition. He has to play a lot of the AFC South. He'll have another chance against playing the Browns, but he's already lost once. Yeah, I don't see it. A 2-game lead seems to be okay right now. I don't know if they'll get like top billing or top seed, but I think the Browns will come out on top.
And I agree with what both you guys are saying, so I think it's unanimous. We think Cleveland is a contender.
Let me add this quick, though, John. I know he's not having a great season, but TK, I'm telling you, I give him one draft. We've all seen what he can do.
Absolutely.
The future.
All right, so the next team we have up, pretty much probably unqualified team here, but it's the Colts team out of Indianapolis. Their GM is some guy named Ray. So number one defense. So we know who has a better defense than Cleveland. It's up in Indianapolis. And kind of little surprise, I'm not going to lie, number 12 offense. So Ray made a calling card out of offense for most of his career here, but number 12. But the only tough games that I see are going to be Bucks and Texans. And his closest competitor is the Jags at 6-3. So we'll skip over Ray because he's biased, and we'll go right to Brandon. What do you think?
Kobe, just to make Kobe happy.
Well, based on the Venmo payment I just got from Ray, I'm going to call him a contender. And also because I was able to beat Connor and the Jaguars when he was the Cowboys last edition. And if I can beat him, I mean, come on. I mean, that's the closest competition. I'm going to give Ray the contender here.
And I have to agree with you, even though, Ray has been on a little bit of a drought on Super Bowl champions, but maybe Madden 24 will change that form. And it's funny you mentioned that, Brandon, because my Super Bowl is like season 1 or 2, Connor was the Bills and I was the Patriots. And in the shock of all shocking things, I put the L on him. So that was my greatest game in GOI history. And that was actually where it started with Connor I was using a new playbook. So I don't forget Connor. So, all right.
Real quick in the AFC South, I know I bashed Kobe earlier, but the Texans are a tough team. So he's coming up strong. I don't understand why Deontay wanted to be in this division. God bless him. Somebody had to do it. But watch out for Kobe. I mean it. 4-5, and he's coming up strong. I don't think he's going to get a playoff spot, but he ain't an easy out. That's for sure.
Yeah. Not a fun division. But I thankfully have played all three of these guys for probably 3 or 4 Mads now, so I got their game plans down, verticals and whatnot.
There you go.
Ray guarantees victory. That's what you need to take from this entire show.
Just, Kobe can't choke forever. At some point, he's going to have to pull one off. At some point, you would just think. So, all right, moving on. We're going to go down to the AFC East. And right there we have E-Man is running Miami at 7-2. He's got the number 5 offense, the number 11 defense. I didn't really see any super challenging games left on his schedule. And he's got the Jets at 5-5 and Buffalo at 5-6. So what do you think, Ray? We'll go to you.
All right, first off, I just want your profile picture showing for you. Just letting you know.
Oh, nice.
But I've gone back and forth on this, and honestly, I can't give you a clear answer. I think they have 3 contenders in this division, and I don't think whoever wins it could be the highest contender per se. But I'm gonna lean Emmanuel just because of that offense and who he has at wide receiver. But that's about a 30% confidence.
All right. So, John, you said something there. 7-2. I'm going to update you. The Dolphins are now 7-3 because the Raiders got their greasy mitts all over Miami, smashing them, absolutely demolishing them by 3 points. So, I played the Jets. He kicked my ass. I played the Bills. He kicked my ass. But yeah, I gotta say, like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, if he just uses those, he maximizes that. The Dolphins are the contender here. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think the Jets will qualify for the playoffs as a wild card. I don't know what the hell happened to the Bills. I don't know. Ryan kicked my butt earlier in the season. I'm like, okay, well, this is probably going to be like the top seed. But yeah, I'm going to give the Dolphins the edge here. Division record is okay. I mean, I haven't seen how they played head to head, but yeah, I'm going to give Miami the nod here.
All right, very good. And I think that the gap's just too big. I agree with you guys. I don't think Miami has enough games to let somebody make up a couple games on them. So I think Miami is a contender as well. All right. Yes.
Yeah, real quick. I just saw the schedule. Yeah, the Jets, if they want to make a move, this is on you, Bailey. You play in week 12, you play in week 15, so you can absolutely flip this around and make me look stupid, which is a very hard thing to do. Go ahead. Take it. Go for it. Use Aaron Rodgers to his maximum potential.
There you go. Sounds like a challenge has been issued. Good job. All right. Last one in the AFC. So this one will be close to home for Brandon, but we got Denver, the aforementioned Mo, trying to bring the Super Bowl Cup to Europe. He's 7-2, and he's actually top 10 in both sides of the fence. Number 8 offense, number 2 defense, and he's also on a 7-game winning streak, as last I saw. But he's got some tough games coming up against the Browns, the Texans, and the Detroit. And he's got Las Vegas. Mr. Brandon is hot on his heels. So, Ray, Brandon's probably a little biased. We still want to hear what he has to say about it, but what do you think?
Well, he didn't Venmo me, so I can't pick him to win it. But I gotta give this. Oh, he's the German machine right now, both sides of the ball. He's not really turning it over too much from what I've seen, and he's got Russell Wilson doing things that I didn't think Russell Wilson could do. And he's not going to be his quarterback next year either. I know we all know how Mo is. He's going to get his speed one way or another. But as this season goes, I'm going to give the nod to Mo. And I think he's a real contender in the AFC to possibly get out of it and go to the Super Bowl.
Nice. Wow, that's bold. Brandon, what are you thinking out there? You're closest to the action.
Well, I'm going to go on record here and say that the Broncos go 8-9. They completely fall off a cliff. And I will finish 7-10. And then Mo will go ahead and go to the playoffs as the division winner.
Nice. I will tell you, Mo is one of our favorites. And, of course, he's our only European player. And so I think we all love him just for that perspective. But if you can get Mo on a losing streak, he can unravel. I've seen it. So Mo, stay tough. Brandon's coming after you. But I think Mo is a contender. All right, switching to the NFC right now. So we'll start off in Raiden's favorite city of all times. We'll start off in Detroit. So we've never seen this in our lifetimes, but Detroit is 7-2, number 6 offense, number 16 defense. So they're definitely more offensive. Denzel has a couple tough games. He's going to go against the Saints. He's got Denver. And no offense to the rest of you guys up there in that division, but Denzel's competition right now is nobody.
No, I think he's going to walk away with it, and I think they're going to walk away with it in real life just to shut up all the haters. No, but he's already got, a 5-game lead, and there's only 7-8 weeks left. Too big of a gap, and I know he traded away Jameson Williams and a couple other guys I would not expect him to, but he's doing something right there, and I'll give him his props. He's definitely a contender.
Brandon?
I think it is mathematically impossible for me to say anything other than he being a contender. Because like you said, he's got a 4.5 game lead right now. He could driving Miss Daisy himself all the ways to week 18 and still end up being ahead on the top of the standings. But let me say I'm deeply, deeply disappointed in the Vikings. I had them pegged at number 2 on my power rankings at the start of the season. And I got a whole bunch of funny looks. I mean, if you could see looks in Discord, like this couldn't him up there. And I went to bat for him. And now he's 3-8 and he's struggling, man. You're making me look dumb. So, yeah, I'm deeply, deeply disappointed in the Vikings. But I will say the Bears. He gave me quite an effort when I played him. I only won by 10. And it was like a field goal fest. I'm kind of surprised Chicago's not doing quite as well. So, not to kind of just, accolades for the Lions because we all know they're going to win, but no, just going a little bit deeper. Vikings do better. Bears do better. Come on, Lions need some competition.
And speaking of the Lions, I think we're all going to say he's a contender here. It's unanimous, but Denzel, I remember when he came into the league, he came in like fire. I mean, he immediately came in, was winning, and he still does win lots of games. I'm just surprised he doesn't have a Super Bowl yet. Because I think he made it to 1 Super Bowl, if my memory serves me right. And it was right at the beginning. And I don't think anybody wants to play Denzel. It's always a great game. So yeah, I'm just waiting for him to finally get that gold trophy. So all right. What's that?
He put me in my place in the playoffs. I'll tell you that much.
Right. So speaking of people that can put Ray in their place, there's not many of them. But now we're moving down to the next division. We've got Peter, who's currently deep in the middle of his Aaron Rodgers darkness retreat. But Peter is 7-2, He's number 2 in offense and number 5 in defense. But he's got a lot of big games because he's got the Colts, he's got the Jags, he's got the Saints, and then he's got 2 games left against the Panthers, which is kind of weird because the Panthers is where we lost Phil, but we picked up Barkley, and I've only seen one of Barkley's games, but man, he looked tough. Like, I think he's just been practicing Madden this whole time he's been away. So his closest competition right now is New Orleans at 6-4, but he's got an onslaught of games coming up. So what do you guys think?
You're not going to pick against Peter. I mean, I wouldn't pick against Peter if he was playing me at this point, but I don't see any of the other 3 being able to catch up to him. And I think the other 3 actually are contenders for the playoffs, maybe not for a Super Bowl berth, but I think all 3 of them can make a run. Marty's been pleasantly surprising, especially on offense. He's been putting up some points. But yeah, Peter's a machine. It's going to be tough for me to beat him. And actually, we play after this advance, so I'll probably see him this weekend.
There you go. Brandon, what do you think?
Well, there's Peter tough, and then there's Barkley tough, I imagine. I'm going to say Peter is absolutely a pretender because he has lost 2 games, and that is a dip from last season. I am extremely – forget the Vikings. The biggest disappointment is Peter and the Buccaneers for having lost twice, which is just – how does that happen? Jokes aside, though, yeah, he's a contender, obviously. He'll probably come out of the NFC, I imagine. And, yeah, the world will keep on spinning. So at least since I've been here, I've not experienced anything but a Peter championship. So I'm looking forward to whoever can overthrow him. But for right now, contender.
You know, that might be a good thing for the bookie is maybe, you know, start a pool on who can take Peter out. So that might be the thing. And we didn't get to see it, but excuse me, when we created the league, the password was 31V Peter. That was the password to the league. So we're all just in Peter's world trying to get him out. But Peter, come back to chat. Come out of the area of darkness. We miss you. So, all right, moving on. We've got up there in the NFC, the New York Giants, the football Giants. Jacob is at 7-4. He's kind of neck and neck right now with Dak and the Cowboys. In fact, with some of the recent updates to or issues we've had with EA messing up Neon, I'm not even sure if they could even be tied. But Jacob's got a good club. He's number 3 in offense, but he's a little one-dimensional. He's number 23 in defense. So apparently he's hired me as his defensive coordinator. He's got games coming up against the Saints and the Rams, which will potentially be rough games for him. And like I said, 1 game over Dak in Dallas. So, Brandon, we'll let you go first. What do you think?
Well, as long as you can keep him under 40 points, you have a chance. And if you need to find an idea of how to do that, go ahead and watch my video, Raiders versus Giants. I think it was week 8. If you want a foolproof game plan on how to keep him under 24 points, because he only scored 23. Now, don't use that if you want to score points, because I only scored 13 and I'm awful on offense. So please don't use it in that respect. But until anybody can keep him from putting a 60 burger on someone, I'm going to keep him as a contender. I haven't seen the Cowboys play, admittedly. I think if I remember Dak, he killed me with the Packers last year. But again, different additions. So I'm going to go with the Giants. I've seen him play. I've seen his offense. It's ridiculously deadly. His defense will figure it out. I mean, eventually he's got to all he needs is 1 or 2 punts and you're done. So Giants are a contender.
All right. Ray?
This was one I think I was going to differ from you guys. At least what I figured you guys would say. I'm going to go with Dak. I think that defense, and I know he's not a huge defensive player, but I just think that front 7 he's got, then you add Diggs in the secondary, I think he's going to get the job done. And I know those 2 are personal friends. And I don't know how many of you guys are up late at night in the chat, but a very odd thing said. But I'm going to go with Dak. And then also I just want to call out Phil, Commanders. He can be sneaky. He just put it to me in another league, and he was actually the Cowboys. So I know all about the Cowboys and what that defense looks like. So I'm going to take Dak, but Jacob definitely could prove me wrong. And I think he's going to be a contender either way as a wild card or a division.
Nice. Well, and it's funny you brought up Phil because that's my one win this year. In fact, I think I stunned Phil so bad it took him 20 minutes to get a good game up there because he didn't know what happened. So I didn't know what happened, but it happened. But at least I'm not going to have another 0-16 season. So thanks, Phil. But yeah, I think that this one probably so far we've been pretty leaning heavily towards contenders. So I'm going to say that Dak probably has one of the best chances to pull up an upset. I think that one there is going to be our pretender category. So Jacob, you've been put on notice. 2 out of 3 are saying you're a pretender. So it's up to you to prove us wrong. And then last, my division. So, this was working out beautifully, but some jerk had to pick the Eagles instead of taking the Rams, and that left us with Kyle in our division. And Kyle has been a juggernaut, 7-2, number 1 rated offense in the whole league. Another one doesn't play a ton of defense, but doesn't need to. I think he just wants to get the ball back so he can score another touchdown. He does have games coming up against the Browns, the Saints, and the Giants. The Giants one, that's going to be 2 birds of a feather, right? 2 fully offensive teams. It's nobody's going to want to play defense. They'll probably just come out in punt formation, but there's no competition in this one. Even Kevin is struggling a little bit for normal Kevin. So Ray, contender or pretender down over here. And
see, my only true loss this season is to Kyle. I'm definitely going to say contender. All I got to say is if he's passing, it's going to Cooper Kupp. And but no, I didn't realize, and not a lot of people might know this, but he lives about 3 miles from me. So if he wants to try to beat me again or does, I might have to go knock on his door. But no, he's gonna take it. Kevin's been disappointing, but looking at his roster, what do you do?
Right.
And I know he got 15 or 20 picks or whatever he has. He's been trying to get. He told me he's trying to get 3 picks in every single round. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do it or not, but I know he's close. He's got at least, I want to say 15, 16. So, but I'm going to go with Kyle.
Nice. And Brandon, tough one for you.
Kyle, it sounds like you need to invest in a good security system if you play Ray again. John, don't give yourself that. We have what, 8 weeks left? You can still play catch up, man. 7 weeks? 7 weeks. I don't know. Don't give up hope yet. But listen, if the Rams can, being a previous Rams owner, if he can do what he's doing with the Rams, absolutely a contender. And I still am flummoxed by how Kevin took the Cardinals. I mean, that was like early in the draft. Like I was expecting them to go like 31, 32. Took him at like 11 or 12. I still haven't wrapped my brain around that. But yeah, there's really no competition. Okay, I'm sorry, John. There's just no competition. Rams contender now and forever.
Brandon, I'm gonna share the secret. There is Kevin took the Cardinals because Marty and not Marty, but oh heck, help me, Ray.
Darnell
and I are in that division.
People though,
he has, but his lifetime record is better than mine, but not much. So, and like I said, we had it worked out. Jake was supposed to come hang out with us, and it was supposed to be like one of us was finally going to get to the playoffs, but then he went Eagles, so messed us all up. So, double minute.
I knew there was some ulterior motive.
Yeah.
Okay,
and it was Kevin's choice was the Rams or the Cardinals. So basically, Kevin was a bottom feeder. So there you go, Kevin. So, all right, guys. Hey, this has been a fun show. I mean, for a first show of the new format, let's see, my phone is rung, darn it. I've had my internet go down. It's just been one little disaster after another. However, Ray, great job. You really stepped up and were super smooth. It was like watching you play a Super Bowl. And then Brandon has been an outstanding guest, just like he is an outstanding member of the league. So, guys, I appreciate it. Any final words before we wrap this up?
Go ahead, Brandon.
I absolutely, positively hate playing as the Raiders, and it darkens my soul every time I have to take the field with them.
I say sorry, I just want to say, sorry to see Phil go. I do love doing this, but I would love it to be Phil. And hopefully he just takes the rest of the edition off, or maybe half the edition, and he decides to come back. But we love you, buddy. We'll catch up sometime.
All right. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing everybody the next time.
All right.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks, Ray.
Yep. See you guys. Thank you.